second. Happy day, happy life, happy journey. I'm so happy to be with you guys, and I'm so grateful that that we have this time to talk and to be together. So I'm super excited to have this opportunity today on this Thursday. And I wanted to welcome everybody as people are starting to come in, and super grateful that that you're here. So we are today, I really wanted to talk about what's going on, right? I myself have been, hey, Beth, thank you. I'm grateful for you too. I myself have been obsessed with what's going on in the news. I can't seem to pull myself away from it. It just has hooked me, right? Happy day. Hey, Ali. Hey, Abby. Nice to see you guys. Jenna, beautiful. Hola. I don't know. Are you guys feeling the same way? Have you been totally connected with the news? Or have you just kind of not paid attention? I don't know how you couldn't pay attention yesterday. It was a remarkable day. Hello from Baja, Mexico. ¿Dónde estás en Baja, Ripa? ¿Dónde andas en Baja? So I'm just reading this comment. Ishan is saying, what can you teach us about social distancing? Well, let's talk about topic of the day. And I guess, what would you like me to teach you about social distancing, Essen? Does it, is the spiritual principle involved in it? I'm happy to talk to you about that. Now, yesterday, here's what came to me, as I was trying to maintain my practitioner consciousness, a consciousness of health and wholeness and healing, at the same time being aware of what's going on. So I don't want to talk about our political beliefs or viewpoints on who's right and who's wrong. There's some simple facts. There was some chaos yesterday. I think we can all agree, no matter what side you're on, it was a little chaotic. And there are a lot of people who don't believe certain things. There's a lot of distrust. There's a lot of distrust for a lot going on. So what do we do? How do we navigate as spiritual beings in the midst of all this confusion? Ripa is in Ensenada. I used to live in San Antonio del Mar, just a little bit north of Ensenada. So Nestor got hit by a car last night. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Nestor. I'm just knowing health and wholeness. That's it right there, what I just did. Something happened. Instead of wringing our hands about Nestor, we go, I know health and wholeness. I know that God is in the midst. That's what I was trying to do yesterday, was to see the presence in the midst of all of the chaos and to anchor myself in spiritual principle. And the principle is that chaos is always the precursor to order. And confusion is always a precursor to clarity, right? That there's something seeking to emerge. It's all happening at the same time. So, for example, we can think about a plane. Think about being on an airplane. First of all, let's take the example of it's all happening now and a vertical understanding of time. So how can I say in the midst of what happened yesterday that peace, order, and balance are seeking to emerge? How can I say that? Okay, here's how. So you're in you're on the ground. There's a hurricane. There's a hurricane going on, right? And on the ground, it is chaotic. No safety. Things are going crazy. It's dangerous. Right now, imagine you're in a plane and you're looking down and you can see the ground. You can see some order. You can see the lines of the streets, the grid of the city, right? You can see houses are in rows and trees, and you can start to see some order. Now on the ground, it's chaotic. There's a hurricane. From the airplane, you're looking down. You can kind of see some order. And now you are in a satellite or a spaceship. You're looking at Earth and you just see this beautiful blue marble with white swirls and green and brown, and you can even see the swirl of the hurricane in the eye, and you can start to see it almost looks peaceful, right? So on the ground level, chaos, airplane order, satellite or spaceship peace, harmony, looks harmonious. And all of that's happening at the same time. This is the same way that we can see that in the midst of the chaos and things that were happening yesterday, that order and balance and harmony are seeking to emerge. So I can know that. Now, how do I gird myself in the midst of this sort of chaos? In the midst, and it's challenging because we have so many different points of views. I find myself getting very triggered by people, who have different points of views than me. Right? It's very challenging. How do we navigate this? Especially, when the idea of facts are so completely different and both sides see that they have solid facts on their sides. Hey, Danny, love you too, brother. Colette, Beth. So here, I wanted to read this to you today. It is today's reading from Ernest Holmes. And I thought there was some really excellent spiritual principle points that I want to discuss in here, because the key, not only is it to say there's peace and order and harmony and balance seeking to emerge, let me see it. I know it's there, let me see it. I know that in the midst there's a presence and an organizing principle of the spirit, let me see it. That's the first part. Now, let me speak some words. Now, these words that I speak aren't just woo-woo. This is more than there's a law behind the words. The word is powerful, and we can look at this in terms of quantum physics. When you speak a word, you're speaking a word. It's a mental activity in your mind. And what is thinking but a mental unit of energy, right? We are chemical electrical beings. Our brain is a chemical electrical organism that's firing based on chemicals and electrical impulses, right? So when I think of something, that's a unit of energy in my brain. And my word then is part of this energetic unit of energy. So something energetic is happening when I'm thinking and speaking. Now, my faith, my belief, my ability to see it already done, to feel it, right? I'm speaking a word of peace. Can I feel it? Can I anchor in as if, let's look at whatever situation's occurring. Can I anchor in and say, what would it be like if it was already done? How would I feel? Let's anchor in the emotions. How would I feel if it was already done? If it was peaceful, we were working together, things were harmonious. I'd feel so relieved. I'd feel grounded. I'd feel anchored. I'd be grateful. I'd be in wonder and awe at life. I'd feel that life was working for me. Right now, you can start feeling those things. That gratitude and elevated emotions, high-minded emotions, are like a magnetic field. So you have an electrical impulse from the brain, an electrical impulse, a unit of thought, and that feeling from your heart is a magnetic field. And we know that the heart has a toric field. The heart has a electromagnetic field. Now, I'm speaking a word, I'm feeling its truth. Now I have created an electromagnetic field that creates a new reality. That is quantum physics. That's what's happening when we can align our thinking with our feeling. Now, bring that into yesterday. Bring that into the events that are unfolding. And we say that I love Jesus's phrase. And he was a master teacher. Fabio, hello. And Lisa Carroll, hello. And Beth, hello. And Glenna, hello. I love, I used to throw Jesus out with the baby out with the bathwater, right? Like Jesus was associated with something for me that wasn't, I felt excluded from the Catholic Church for various reasons in my life. And I kind of threw it all out. And now as a metaphysician, and I read the words of this master teacher, I think this really beautiful metaphysical interpretations. So, for example, when Jesus says, it is not I, but the Father within me that does the work, right? He's speaking to a specific mindset. The level of consciousness at the time would see God as an anthropomorphic being outside of us. So it's not I, but the Father within that does the work. And I have of my own self do nothing. These are his statements. He also, in the Garden of Gethsemane, in his, ecstatic declaration that I and the Father are one. Okay, so Father here represents the presence of God, the presence of divinity, divine intelligence. We can all agree that there is an energetic signature that is in, through, and as all of life. That energy is neither created nor destroyed, but transferred and conveyed into various forms. This is the first law of thermodynamics. That energy that's neither transferred, that's neither created or destroyed, that's the energy of life, life with a capital L, but energy of the eternal, right? So here we are now. I can say the Father within is that does the work. The energy of life within me is that which does the work. That there's a creative principle that's organizing my body, my cells, my digestion, my nails, my skin. All of that is going on automatically. That's the energy of life. So it's not I, but the Father within. That's happening automatically. The declaration, I and the Father are one, is an ecstatic recognition that I'm moving that realization out of just being an automatic, oh, I'm digesting food, and that's energy and life and God within me, to a deeper understanding, a knowing that energy, that creative principle, the very thing that's within me that transmutes food and turns it into flesh and bone and consciousness, that's the energy of life, that's the energy of God, and that is the energy that's within me. It is not I, but the Father within that does the work. Now, saying this, I want you to hear Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes is a great metaphysician. And he says, his reading today is, I experience the creativity of faith. That faith is creative. We were talking about that with the mental unit of energy and the feeling tone of it already happening, creating an electromagnetic field. My faith is creative. My thinking is creative. This is physics, not woo-woo. Faith acts like a law because it is a law. This is what Ernest Holmes says. It is the law of mind in action. When we realize that we no longer feel that we must have faith in ourselves as isolated beings, but rather that as human beings, we are included in the great law of life. That's what I was talking about. There's a principle within us, an organizing principle that is doing all this stuff. It's organizing planets. It's organizing the sun. It's organizing heavenly bodies. It's organizing the mitochondria of my cells. It's organizing the transition of the seasons. All of this is the energy of life. And that means I'm included in it, that human nature is nature. So we're part of nature. We're part of this energy. Then we can rest in complete confidence that our words spoken in this faith has to be in alignment with that realization, that our words spoken in this faith are the presence and the power and the activity of the Spirit in us. Now I'm moving. It's not I, but the Father within that does the work. All effort to make things happen or concentrate the mind is put aside. I don't have to make anything happen. I don't have to force anything. I don't have to concentrate because there's an active principle already working within me. And with childlike acceptance, we make known our requests with thanksgiving. Right? So he's saying exactly what I was saying. With childlike acceptance, we make known our request with thanksgiving. Our request is the intention. Our request is the word of our mouth. Our intention is the thought that we think. And with our gratitude, we create the electromagnetic field that draws it back to us. The word sends it out into the field of energy, and our feeling tone of gratitude that has already happened draws it back like a magnet. And with childlike acceptance, we make known our requests. We are one with God, one with the source, one with Spirit, one with Mother Ayahuasca, one with the Father, one with the Mother. Nothing can separate us from the source. It's the very nature of our being. We can't be separate. Letting our faith be God's presence and power, we can say, all that I am, and all that I do is the divine presence expressing through me. The thoughts that I think and the words that I speak are life and truth because the presence of the divine speaks them through me. I of myself give no authority to this word. I of my own self do nothing. But the child of God within me, that organizing principle, the energy of life, the nature that's within me, that is what brings everything to pass. Right? That is the activity of the law, this lawful universe that we live in. So now we speak a word of health for my body, my feelings and my thoughts. So we're just taking this now into Let's just know this about what's going on in the world today. We speak a word. We have faith that we know that there's an organizing principle within us, that our word is an electromagnetic, creative feeling aligned with our faith, right? So I speak the word of health for my body, my feelings, and my thoughts, knowing that the Father within is the power that brings this wholeness into complete being. So we're just take a moment now as we speak this word together for the health of our body, mind, and thoughts, that there is, no matter what the external circumstances are, no matter what's happening, there is, I'm speaking this word of health for my thoughts and my feelings and my body. And it's not me that gives authority, but the power within me, that power that's already there, digesting my food and causing all of these myriad of activities and functions of my body to occur without me thinking about them. That's the power. That's what gives it the authority, not egoic John Jacob, not my sense of self or personality, but it's this recognition that there's something within me already. The child of the presence of God, the child of the presence of the Spirit, the love and intelligence that is creative within me. That's what does the work. I speak the word of divine guidance. Oh, don't we need it? Divine guidance, and the wisdom of the universe wells up as a beacon to lead me into paths of right useness, to make straight and clear my everyday paths. So I speak this word of wisdom. So now I'm calling forth, I'm evoking. It's already here. The wisdom and intelligence of all of the universe is within me. It's functioning in every cell of my body. Now I bring it to a recognition, to an awareness, right? And I say that the wisdom, the divine intelligence that exists everywhere, that's changing the seasons and causing an acorn to grow into an oak tree, that blossoms the roses, that flies the hummingbirds. This divine intelligence, it's within me, and it wells up as I call it forth. I call forth divine intelligence. Let me see it. It wells up from within me as a beacon to lead me into paths of right useness. Now he's playing with the word righteousness, right? We think of righteousness as being very religious, but we're talking about right useness, the right use of the law, the right use of the lawful universe. It's a lawful universe that responds to our thinking. It's a reflective universe that reflects back to us what we put into it. It's an electromagnetic field, a field of infinite possibility, a unified field that reacts to us. And when we use the law righteously, right useness of the law, it has a definite effect. And it acts like a mirror. So I speak this word of divine intelligence for each one of us. And it's not I, John Jacob, but the power within me, the power of the Spirit that's doing everything already that I lean into. And we join together in this thanksgiving feeling tone that divine wisdom is already here. Feel it. Divine wisdom is everywhere within my body. I feel it. I bring it into my awareness. And I know that this divine wisdom wells up within me as a beacon, guiding me that we know just what to do, just what to say, always. So we can rely. It's not me that has to figure it out. There's something that guides me. Can I be attentive? Can I listen with ears beyond ears and eyes beyond? Can I hear what can't be heard by the ears? Can I see what can't be seen by the eyes? And then I speak the word of joy. I speak the word of joy, and the Father within me frees me from loneliness and sadness. So I'm not willy-nilly saying, oh, I don't know what's going on, or I'm sad, or I'm lonely. I'm going to speak the word of joy, even when I can't see it. Because remember that idea of vertical time, that order, the chaos, order, and harmony are all happening at the same time. So even if I'm not feeling joyful right now, I'm going to speak the word of joy and know that it is this presence that is within me, this love intelligence, this love beauty intelligence, that frees me from these lower vibrational feelings of loneliness or sadness or isolation. And I speak the word of peace, peace to the world, and know that the peace of God reaches into the hearts and minds of the people of all nations. Now, this is a hard one because we see that it's hard for the mind to catch on to an idea that we speak the word of peace that reaches into all the minds and hearts, right? That could be hard. That could be hard right now when we seem so divided. But even in the midst of appearances, let's anchor into this. Let's anchor in together and join together in this idea that we speak the word. Is not I, but the Father within. Is not I, but the presence within that does the work. We speak this word of peace. Peace that imbues itself into our thinking, into our minds, into our thoughts, and into our actions, and imbues itself into every people, all the peoples of the world, in all the nations, that it reaches the hearts and minds of all. It's right there. Love and peace and order and balance are all here waiting to emerge. It's like they're waiting to get through this little narrow tube, right? This little bandwidth. We've got to open up the aperture. We've got to open up the channel so we individually can be a greater channel for peace. That when we show up, peace shows up. When we show up, compassion shows up. When you show up, love shows up. When you show up, abundance shows up. When you show up, law, righteousness shows up, right? That's how we anchor it. Trust and believe me, I'm not this every minute of the day. It's challenging, but this is why we keep ourselves lifted in high consciousness, why we fellowship, why you're watching something like this, right? While we're seeking out to find others who are willing to join with us in consciousness. So we speak this word of peace, right? We speak this word of peace. Thank you, Eshin. I will try to speak more slowly. Thank you, Ken, so for the presentation comments. And thank you so much. Someone is saying that the art is wicked. That art behind me is from a good friend of mine in Tucson, Arizona, David Teneo, and he made that for me. It was really beautiful. So I'm grateful. You can see above, there's a little bit more. Thank you for that. So here we are talking about how we can, in the midst of what's going on in the world, not ignore it, right? Because there's a part of me that wants to I just can't. I can't, because if I pay attention to it, I get hooked, right? So we have to walk this line of limiting our news a little bit, checking in, making sure that we're staying up to date, and then holding the truth in the midst. I kept saying yesterday while I was watching all this unfold, God is in the midst. God is in the midst. Peace is in the midst. Love is in the midst. The presence of order, balance, and harmony is in the midst. Chaos is the precursor to order. Uncertainty is the precursor to clarity. Confusion is the precursor to clarity. So I know it's there. It's waiting. It's waiting, and it's only suppressed by limited perception. So we must open up our perceptions. There was a limited perception of only one thing, only one way that something could happen yesterday. Limited perception. We've got to open up to infinite possibilities so that when we rise up, we all rise with us, right? That's also a metaphysical law, that as it's the law of entanglement. We're all connected. It's like each cell in our body is connected to every other cell and everything. We're connected, the law of entanglement. And so as we rise, we bring everything with us, right? And that's why we rise together. So, I think about this frequently here in Southern California. I'm at home in LA right now. I'll be back at Rythmia soon. It's cloudy by the beach a lot, right? We get the marine layer, but the sun's always shining above the clouds. So even when it appears to be cloudy and I can't see the sun's always shining. The sun never stops shining. Even at night, the sun's always shining, right? It's not shining where I'm at in that moment, but I know it's there. I know it's there. And we can bring that consciousness of light into the darkest night. That's our job. That's what we have to do, to hold that space. For the more of us hold that space, the more we rise together. So we speak the word of peace for ourselves, first and foremost. Peace within ourselves. How can we see peace in our society, in our environment, if we're not seeing it within ourselves? So we speak this word of peace for ourselves, and know that it is that it reaches into the hearts and minds of all people and all nations. We speak the word of health for our body, mind, and soul, for our thoughts and words and deeds. We speak the word of wisdom and guidance, that there is a already perfect intention and intelligence within us that's guiding us, that's doing everything already, we lean into that. Don't figure it out how to make it happen. The how is not our business. The how is the wow. The how is the wow. What we get to do is pay attention. All right. So let me just look at some of these comments, you guys. Wow. Hi, Shelly. Jonathan. All right. Ashley, thank you. Shelly, Megan. Wow. Great. Miss Vicky. So good to see you all. Thank you so much. I'm just looking. Roxana, Greg, awesome. Antoine, beautiful. So good to see so many people. Randy, Megan, so good. Russell, thank you. So look, you guys, so grateful for this time together. I so appreciate you. And I'm interested in hearing from you. You can always find me on social media, John Jacob Mubarak. I have, and at Rythmia. You can always reach out to me through Rythmia. Please, I'd love to hear from you on your thoughts, what you're experiencing, and to just connect. So grateful for you. And in this moment, we just say the last thing. I know that for each one of us, there is an ever-increasing good, an ever wider field of awareness that we continue to open that aperture of our awareness so that more good, more peace, more love, more abundance, more joy, more harmony, more power, more order, more balance can flow through us, more abundance can flow through us, more creativity, more excellence. So we open up ever wider field of awareness and an ever deeper connection with the source of all of life. Deeper connection with the source of all of life. For our connection with that source, that's what has everything happen in perfect order, balance, and harmony. For it is not I, but the Father within. It is not I, but the organizing principle of life within me that does the work. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Blessings to each one of you, and I'll see you soon.